Today we're in Corydon, Indiana, which is the boyhood home and final resting place for actor James Best, who's more commonly known as the bumbling sheriff
Rosco Coltrane calling you.
from the show Dukes of Hazzard. I even got my Dukes of Hazzard shirt on. Let's get in there and see what we can find.
You know what one casket said to the other casket? He said, "Was that you coughing?"
Here on the corner of Maple and High Street in Corydon, Indiana. If you look down the road, there's the Cedar Hill Cemetery where James Best is laid to rest. But just one block down from that is the boyhood home of James Best. Now, the thing I find interesting about James Best is that he wasn't actually born in Indiana or with the name James Best. He was actually born in Kentucky as Jewel Franklin Guy, but was sent to an orphanage at just 3 years old after losing his father and shortly after losing his mother to tuberculosis. But luckily, a loving couple, Armin and Essa Best from Corydon, Indiana, adopted him, then renamed him James or Jimmy Best. So here's the boyhood home of James Best. It says right there on the sign, home of James Best. And I like what the neighbors did here on their sign. It says the house next to the home of James Best, which I got a little kick out of that. And there it is. This is where Rosco P. Coltrane grew up as a boy. Shortly after graduating high school, he left for the Army right before World War II. Now let's go find the final resting place of James Best.
He was best known for playing the bumbling sheriff Rosco P. Coltrane on the hit TV show The Dukes of Hazzard.
Kentucky native James Best died last night after a brief illness and complications from pneumonia. He died at the age of 88.
We made it to Cedar Hill Cemetery here in Corydon, Indiana, to find the final resting place of actor James Best. Let's go see if we can find him. Now, during World War II, James Best served in the U.S. Army. He trained as a gunner on the B-17 bomber planes. Now, it was in Germany that he transferred from the military police to the Army unit of actors, performing for troops all over Europe. After leaving the U.S. Army, James Best debuted as a stage actor in New York. He also became a fashion model. This brought him to the notice of Hollywood casting directors, and a contract with Universal Studios soon followed. Best got his start in the acting in the 1950s, taking small parts in TV shows and Western films, including episodes of The Twilight Zone, The Andy Griffith Show, and Gunsmoke. Despite having played some of the orneriest bad guys in films and on television for over decades, actor James Best was forever ingrained in the minds of audiences as the bumbling sheriff Rosco P. Coltrane.
I said, well, I'll do what I used to do with my little girls when they were little. I go, when you get to you little booger. Well, they fell off the couch laughing, and I was the first one they signed.
And I think we found his grave right here. And there he is, James Best, born July 26, 1926, died April 6, 2015. In Hickory, North Carolina, from complications of pneumonia. he was 88 years old. Now after the Dukes of Hazzard, Best enjoyed a wide range of hobbies and interests. He was an accomplished painter, a black belt in karate, enjoyed writing poetry, songs, and stories. He also ran his own acting school, and his students included Lindsay Wagner, Roger Miller, Glenn Campbell, Quentin Tarantino, and Regis Philbin. He was also an animal rights advocate. Love the stone here. Of James K. Best. It's hard to believe he was born as Jewel Franklin Guy in Kentucky, and after the death of his parents, he was sent to an orphanage, so I'm sure at that point it seemed like there was no hope for his whole life. But luckily, he was adopted by these wonderful people, Armin and Essa Best, and gave him an amazing life. Just goes to show you, you never want to give up, no matter how dire the situation can be. Now, like I do with all the famous graves I go to, I want to leave a few mementos for James Best. I want to leave my YouTube magnet. If you come to Corydon, Indiana and visit James Best, feel free to take my magnet. But I also want to leave this Dukes of Hazzard car. And of course that Rosco Coltrane car. Rest in peace, James Best. Alright, well, that's going to do it from here in Corydon, Indiana. So until we meet again, I just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, I thought as a little tribute to James Best here, we would play that classic Waylon Jennings theme song from the Dukes of Hazzard. Now I can't sing, but some situations you just gotta do it. Here we go. Just the good old boys, never meaning no harm. Beat all you ever saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little